welcome back to the Ethics, Law, and Society Forum. This is a kind of a special weekend here. You've now been exposed to activists and scholars and legal practitioners and other folks from government who are working in a variety of disciplines. And you've also been exposed to scholarship happening at UC Berkeley and elsewhere, but also scholarship happening here by our faculty at SSU. That really begins with you all. The stage one of that process is with the undergraduate experience. And so one thing we want to do with this forum is not only highlight cutting edge research being conducted around the world really, but also the cutting edge research that's being conducted here at SSU. And one of the themes this semester has been water, and this is going to be our final water related event. And so today we have a bunch of students from the Philosophy of Science and Technology course who have been doing their own research on water, and they're going to present on that shortly. First, I want to introduce Professor John Sullins, who's a professor in the philosophy department and is the teacher for that class, who will put it all in context for us. So please give them all a warm welcome.
Thanks, Josh. So American author, Mark Twain, is said to have said, whiskey is for drinking, but water is for fighting over. And what we tried to explore in this class was the way that water plays a boundary. It's a boundary item. It forms borders, rivers and oceans form national borders, and it forms a commodity that we all fight over. And we're all pretty intimately aware of this in California, as Northern Californians covet their water, and Southern Californians covet it as well. And we have to make these complicated decisions on how we're going to construct technologies to get water from water-rich Northern California to water-dry Southern California. So I got a grant for this class from the Waters Project, and this allowed students in the class to do some pretty extended research, which we're going to present for you today. And they found out some really interesting things, and we tried to explore what role does technology play in our collection of water and our use of water and our distribution of water, and the surprisingly political and value-laden facts that come up when we take a look at this. So I'm going to introduce the students, and they're going to come. There's going to be three groups of them. You can take a look at their posters. There's a poster in the back about the class. This class is taught every fall. So if any of it interests you, if you're interested in philosophy and technology issues, take a look at it next year. So let's look at our first group. So it's going to be Alex, and Branson, and they're going to tell us about gray water technologies.
Yeah, all right. All right, so my name is Alex Alvera, and I have partners Alex Higgins and Branson Eiton. And the first thing I think we were tasked with doing was finding a philosophical groundwork for our argumentation and then our proposals that we eventually will get to near the end of our presentation. And I'm going to be describing our groundwork. So, you guys had a presenter earlier named Irene Klaver, and I thought that her argument for meandering was really a good thing, a good metaphor for our own research and our own task at finding a solution to utilizing our watersheds to their full potential. So meandering to a solution, you guys kind of already went over it and had her speak to you about it, but I'm going to go over it again. It's kind of going back and forth, in and out, and in between obstacles, trying to find the best way to work with the natural environment to get the solution you desire. There's a British sculptor and environmentalist named Andy Goldsworthy, and he's really famous for taking things in the environment and looking at the way that they are in the environment and how they live in the environment and putting them together in a way that's really natural. And what he says is that all his sculptures, along with all the individual pieces in the sculptures, have a lifeline. And so what he tries to do is put every piece in the sculpture and build it into one thing, so everything's kind of going in the same direction naturally. And I think that is another really great metaphor for our watershed. And that's what we were tasked to do. We need to look at our watershed and utilize that in the best possible way for us moving forward and for our water resources. And it's really a holistic type of vision, and you can see it in the meandering picture I have there. But it's a holistic vision because it's not us just dictating the path of our water, like making dams and directing water in certain ways in straight lines. Irene kind of brought that up in her presentation also. But it's more of looking at things as they stand and the best way to put ourselves in the situation in a way that doesn't affect the overall natural course of how things go. And I think we have some great proposals here, and Alex is up.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about the scale of implementation because we seem to be, like, as a country and just as a people, we seem to be totally fixated on this idea of a mega project of like, okay, everyone in California is going to get together and we are going to take this water from Northern California and get it down to Southern California. And that's just the way it's going to be because I said so. And it doesn't exactly always make sense. And so the reason why we're going to talk about Irene so much, by the way, is we got to have her in our class later 3 Tuesdays ago. So we got to like have her for 3 hours in a day, which was amazing. And she really brought to mind this idea that we have of an expert. So when you have a big mega project, there's an expert that the government or that whatever group that's in charge of this mega project has. You have the one expert, and that expert is in charge of everything. But we, as people outside of this mega project, don't know who this expert is and what they know about this project. And so the whole thing becomes really, really blurred and obfuscated, and we don't understand exactly what's going on. So what she talked about with our class is that if everything was on the community scale, instead of this huge, like, mega structure, then each person in the community would then become an expert. So it's about, like, taking the word expert, breaking it apart, and putting it back together again. So, like, let's say that this is, like, the huge, big, mega project. Now, there are some people in here that I know. Now, if I brought those people that I know together and we formed a community, then we're all experts on each other because we all know each other. And so we could form, like, a little teeny tiny coexistent system, and we would each know what everyone else is doing. So it's sort of like the keeping up with the Joneses thing, which is what would be really, really, like, helpful for recycling things. Then people would be encouraging each other to recycle and reuse and stuff like that, rather than a huge government or just conglomerate thing. So, and I have a little cute political cartoon there, just to demonstrate my point.
All right, I'm Branson. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about gray water specifically and what it is. Gray water is opposed to black water, which is like sewage that you flush down the toilet. Gray water is water that does contain some organic material but can still be reused. Actually, my next slide has a very good picture here. We can recycle gray water that comes from washing machines, tubs, and sinks, and reuse it for outdoor landscaping, gardening, to refill the toilet because you don't need to flush perfectly good water every time you go to the bathroom. And sometimes filtering it back into the washing machine. It would go through a sand filter first, though. So some of the benefits of using gray water. We took a trip up to the Guerneville Water District, and we found out that the average person in Sonoma and Marin counties use 119 gallons of water a day. 83 of these gallons could go to sources that use gray water instead. So out of the 119, 83 gallons could be filtered in using gray water. That's obviously a huge percentage right there. We also found out the average household would save about 30% on their water bill if they were to have a gray water system installed. So some of the gray water systems, they can be kind of expensive. Parts alone cost about $600. But then installation is where it becomes kind of expensive. Can be up to $3,000 for installation. So we realize it's going to be hard to get people to go out and spend this kind of money, make this investment, and put gray water systems into their homes. So one of our ideas is future developments, kind of making it a standard in new buildings that are built to have gray water systems implemented. So then the resident has option of kind of recycling their water without having to redo their whole plumbing system and whatnot. Also, gray water systems can be used on a commercial scale, and is really good for agriculture. So we live in wine country, and gray water is great for vineyards. So this is also something that the commercial industry can take into consideration as well. So are there any questions regarding gray water? No? Okay, then we'll pass it on to the next group.
I was saving myself for last. Sorry, I have a question. So I've seen other sort of environmental costs, because that's a big. If you go back to the slide, I forget what the number was, but it was a big number to install a gray water system.
Yeah, around 3,000.
That's a lot of money for a homeowner. I've seen other environmental systems, like say solar systems, can be funded by where I would take out a loan from say a bank or some other lender, and I would pay it off not by the standard way of paying it off, but by savings on my water bill. I don't know. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
essentially, they would lend me the money that I would never notice a change in my monthly cost until I paid it off. At which point it would just go down the 30% or whatever it was that the savings would be. So I don't know. Did you see any funding solutions like that?
I can answer that. So I got on the phone actually with the guy who the head honcho, I guess, at the Guerneville Water District, and I brought that point up to him that how with solar panels and installing them, you can pan back in certain kind of imaginative ways. And he said that he's been looking into that and been talking to the people in Guerneville in Guerneville and seeing if they can do that, but it's nothing yet is established within our county. But that idea is out there and it's being filtered around. So it's a good point.
Yeah, that'd be a really good incentive for people.
Yeah.
So I have a quick question. So the gray water, you take it from like kitchen sink, like the runoff from the kitchen sink, from the bathroom and stuff like that. What if you have people improperly disposing of, say chemicals or oil from like a deep fryer and stuff like that? Is there, you said it runs through a sand filter, but is there anything else that is this all within each house, like each system, or is there any sort of process that when you talk to anybody to you ask them about there are any sort of improper disposing of chemicals or bathroom cleaners or pesticides.
So with any new implementation that you put in your house, there comes a whole new set of problems and benefits, right? So that this is one of those things that, because this is a system within your own house and it's just you and you're doing it. So, I mean, it's a complete reversal of or not a reversal, but a complete new kind of frame about how you're using your water and how you're distributing. You're no longer flushing it down a drain and sending it to the ocean. Like, it's a completely different thing. So you're going to have to be conscious, because as far as I know, with like chemical waste and stuff like that, that's really harmful and like breaks down material. You're going to have to find an alternative way of going about that. But that's really not the hardest thing to do. So it's just one of those things that goes with it.
And there are expiration dates that come with gray water. Like, it's good for up to 2 weeks or 3 weeks with chlorination added to it. So there are certain things, and the only beef I have with this diagram, because it's a great diagram, but the only beef I have is that they show it in a sprinkler system, and that can't work. It has to be an underground sprinkler system, because you can't have direct contact. Although now more research is going into direct contact with gray water, and they're finding that it's a 0.003% danger, but that danger still exists. So they're still recommending an underground, so that you're not coming into direct contact with.
Yeah, there's a lot of regulations of how you can use the gray water.
And usually it doesn't go from the kitchen sink, because people are still really bad at disposing of kitchen grease. It's supposed to go into a ragu jar, people. No, I'm kidding. So generally it just comes from washroom sink basins, where the milder chemicals are being used. And then for toilets, it can only go into the toilet bowl. It can't go into the toilet tank, because the toilet tank has all those little levers in it, and you don't want to be messing around with that.
And you should be putting your grease into biodiesel systems anyway.
Exactly.
So, and the biggest thing also I want to point out, now that we're kind of winding down, is that this gray water solution, we told you how much water it can save in the overall percentage. It was 89 gallons out of that 119 it saves. Well, if you look at that in the overall view of how we were talking about our watershed, that's water that typically in your house would you be pulling away from our systems. Like the Russian River, people are pulling water out of that every day. So that's a lot of water saved, and that helps the system be healthier overall. So.
All right, thank you. All right. My name is Alec Brownlee. This is Simon Choi, Michael Nolan, and for the next couple minutes, our group would like to present to you an analysis of Sonoma County's water use, and in particular, how wineries can better their efforts to conserve our most precious resource. So, our theme for our project is how we as a society can change our way of thinking towards water and how wineries can adopt a new philosophy on water conservation. First off, I'll go over the current usage of water wineries use, and the impact it has on our county. Simon will then explain how wineries can take the next step towards water conservation, and lastly, Michael will look ahead at wineries that currently have a philosophy in place that others should follow. So it's been in the news for on an almost daily basis. California is obviously in the midst of a drought. This means that widespread crop or pasture losses are likely. Water shortages will be common, and there will likely be water restrictions imposed to mitigate emergencies. So under these conditions, California wine growers face an unprecedented shortage of water for their vines and a direct threat to the state's $22 billion wine industry. So what steps have vineyard owners already taken, and what can they do to protect themselves from crop failures and still maintain a thriving business? Two things come into mind. Most high-quality vineyard owners already practice a production known as deficit irrigation, and in a sense, the grapevines are given as little water as needed to survive, but enough to continue to produce grapes. Counterintuitive as it seems, this actually produces a better quality grape for winemaking, one with more concentrated flavor. When vines are given too much water, though, the juice within the grapes become watered down or diluted. So growers will continue to strike a balance between giving vines as much water as they want and stressing them into producing more concentrated grapes. But many growers have also been doing something called dry farming, which means there's no irrigation given to the vines. And dry farming is not for everyone, and requires that sufficient water to exist deep down in the soil or build up of moisture in the soil through rainfall saturating the ground in the winter prior to growing season. With this method, during the first 3 to 4 years after planting, the vines occasionally get a small amount of water, but just enough to survive. The minimal amount of water encourages the vines to send the roots deep down into the soil in search of more moisture. And after this initial period, the vines are not given any more water and are left to survive on their own. So it can be a scary proposition, but in general, no water will then be used to irrigate the vineyard. Of course, if the vineyard owners also have a winery on the premises, water is still used for cleaning purposes and during the harvest and crush process. And these methods of winemaking are great for now, but what happens when our drought worsens and when water becomes scarce? It's perhaps more realistic to consider that the supply of water is limited by nature and the competing water needs. Water is valuable for environmental purposes and is also needed for residential and industrial uses too. And of course, water is in very high demand for agricultural crops other than wine grapes. About 80% of California's annual non-environmental water budget goes to agriculture, including wine. Residential businesses use accounts for the rest. And as population continues to grow, the squeeze will affect everyone. To give you an idea about how much water it takes to produce a single glass of wine, I found some numbers on how much water wineries use in the process of making wine, how much an acre of vines yields, and calculated this result. Approximately 16 gallons of water is used to make a single glass of wine. For a bottle of wine, multiply 16 with 6 glasses of wine that's in that bottle, and you get around 96 gallons of water used for one bottle of wine. I found this information from the Economist news site, and I was shocked. This is exactly why our group took up this project. We want to urge wineries to change their philosophy and tackle this problem head first. Water conservation needs to be a top priority for wineries, not only in Sonoma and Napa County, but wineries across the world. So the drought not only affects wine industries, but other industries too. The table on the left, construction and wineries are the top two industries that lose a lot of gross revenue when there is a water shortage. Jobs are also lost during the times of water shortage, especially in the wine business. As you can see, at a 10% water shortage, wineries lose nearly 10 times the amount than that of real estate, hospitals, and restaurants.
during this phase. So when water shortages increased to about 20%, it's doubled compared to the lost revenues at 10%. And when it's at a 30% shortage, this is when shit hits the fan, so to speak. Wineries lose nearly 6 times the amount of money when it's at 20% shortage and 12 times the amount compared to when it's at 10% shortage. As we continue to endure this drought here in California, we need to be aware that this is no joke. Everyone in every industry is affected, and particularly wineries. Their domination of water needs to shift to more of a domestication by conserving their water use. We can reduce the number of gallons of water used to make wine, contain the economic impact it has in our county, and we can all share and enjoy this precious resource together. And so now I will give the floor to Simon, where he will discuss ways that we can conserve water for wineries.
Thank you. Let's see. So, Alec was talking about wineries and how much water they use or implement into creating the wine. I will talk about several methods on how we can use to reduce the amount or conserve on the basis to reduce the amount of water. We have the Gracie water box, which saves wineries up to 150,000 gallons of water. Let's see. It's basically it refills itself and shades the soil so it can improve the soil condition without let's just say diluting or overfeeding the soil with water so it doesn't dry out maybe, or just like sponging all that water so all the wine would just go to waste. But it's just there, the water box is there to keep in track of how much water should be used at a proper amount. And then we have the neutron probes and the EnviroScan. The neutron probes are basically where they are basically keeping track of how much water is used, so it prevents the growth of unnecessary vegetation, aka weeds. We all hate weeds in our garden, right? Who has a garden here? Don't be shy, but we all don't be shy. Like I used to have a garden too. I used to have a garden too. Though yeah, but it's like because I'm not being stereotypical, but my parents are Asian, so they kind of have to go with the right amount, or they just give me just give me a long lecture. But it's just all about the right amount of water you're going to put. That's the neutron probes. And it basically will monitor that. And then we have the EnviroScan. The EnviroScan is basically, it just monitors the soil, the amount of soil and the amount of water. So it can allow us to prevent the overusage of water implementation in the soil, so we can get great wineries and great grapes, so we can get perfect and good wines. And basically, if you tie that all in together, they're just trying to make a way to conserve water and prevent the amount of growing excessive vegetation. Hand over to Michael. Let's see what.
So after talking about some new technologies we're hoping to implement in wineries to help water conservation, there's also a lot of programs like this LEED program that offers sustainability certifications to wineries that can meet their standards for economic consciousness or environmental consciousness. And these programs create an incentive for wineries to become more green because they can use that label to advertise that their wine is more environmental, they're using green wine. And the only problem with using these kind of incentive programs and developing these technologies is they only kind of mask the problem that we have with wineries and their water use. the technology you use only makes the water usage more efficient. It doesn't give you any reason to restrict expanding your winery to the point where you're using the same amount of water, but now you just take up even more space. And even the incentive programs only seem to be economically based. Wineries are a business after all, so it's hard for them to think outside of economic terms. So the solution to that is for us as a community to kind of demand it from wineries. We have to show them how much we appreciate our water and how we can't waste it. And there's a couple wineries out there that are already taking really good strides in this subject. The ones listed, although two of them in particular, the Jackson family wines, they save about 6 million gallons of water every year just by recycling it to wash their barrels and tanks. And it's really simple stuff, but it adds up in the end. And they also use a farming technique called cover crops, which are used in the off season to help keep soil moisture active, which improves the quality of water delivery to the plants. And they also use some of the moisture probes that Simon was talking about and a drip system to help stop overwatering. And then the second one was the Frog Leap Winery, and that's actually one of the greenest wineries in the U.S. They use that technique that Alec was talking about, dry farming, where you pretty much rely solely on rainwater and your ability to keep the soil moist and prevent evaporation, usually using shading or especially tilling techniques to keep the soil more absorbent. And they're also almost 100% solar powered, so they're almost running completely by themselves. They don't take outside water sources. And I think actually the Frog Leap in particular is kind of the model for what wineries should be looking like nowadays. They take a more holistic approach and look at their entire environment before just expanding. They don't leave a footprint. And some advice that John Williams, as the owner, gave is they run on 3 basic principles of balance, which is being aware of how to adjust your farming techniques to what's happening in nature. Restraint, knowing when you're going to be pushing your fields to the limit and not causing damage to them. And a respect for terroir, I want to say it's a French word, so I could totally be messing that up. But it's the idea of having an understanding of your entire ecosystem that you're starting to invade and knowing what works with it best, what will get the most product, and how to properly respect it and treat it so you don't damage it and can keep using. So we feel that the development of philosophies like Mr. Williams will lead to wineries eventually working with water rather than depending on it. And that's our plan for wineries.
Is there any questions?
Shoot.
I'm just curious, in terms of the wine, is there a difference in the wines from vineyards that have that are being a lot more conserving a lot of water than those that aren't?
In terms of the quality of the taste and the grape itself, there is a difference. When vineyard owners use the method dry farming, they've noticed that their grapes are a lot tastier. And also when they conserve a lot more water, they're not so diluted inside the juices. So you don't get that watery wine taste that tastes mostly like alcohol and less flavor. So when they do conserve water, they do see a sufficient improvement with the quality of the wine itself, and they save a bunch of money and save the environment. Thank you.
How many wineries around here are using the dry farming?
Through my research, I found about 40 to 50% of the wineries here in Sonoma and Napa County combined have been starting the water conservation, but we want to urge all wineries to start picking up this new philosophy and this new way of looking at water conservation.
Because dry farming is actually a pretty realistic thing. You need 20 to 25 inches of rain a year. We get that pretty easily here. It's just it's being able to put the time into taking care of your soil, and it's something you can't do on a like massive scale.
Daily basis.
It kind of requires you to scale back your winery.
Yeah.
But for the benefit of the environment.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any clarifications? All right. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lav Gupta, and my partner here is Arun. And since we are students of this class, Philosophy of Science and Technology, and the water is the central theme, we were told to choose a topic that will affect all of us in lives. So we were thinking about this topic, and we finally came up with Bay Area water mercury contamination. We chose this topic because we live near the Bay Area. Each one of us is directly or indirectly affected by its pollution. And we are basically concentrating on the mercury contamination in the Bay Area. We will be talking about what is mercury, how does it enter this water, how this toxic substance called mercury gets converted into methyl mercury by bacteria, how industrial waste, power plants, human wastes, fishing all affects the sediments and the fisheries, and how we humans, when we eat fish, are affected by this highly toxic substance. Later on, my friend will be talking about other certain kind of species which are more highly affected with it and less affected, and he'll be talking about other solutions and certain organizations that are working on it to keep us safe. In the end, we will be also talking about certain philosophical questions about man's relationship to water and how it has changed over time. Okay, now as you can see in this chart here, this is a chart depicting the San Francisco Bay. What is methyl? Now, methyl is a very highly toxic substance which enters water every day, every moment. It has been doing so for past 300 years. The main contributor to this methyl contamination in the Bay Area was the mercury mining, which started in mid 1800s up to late 1900s, and the gold rush in California. That is a major contributor towards the mercury contamination. Now, when mercury enters the water, this mercury gets converted into methyl mercury by a bacteria, which converts methyl into methyl mercury into a very organic form. And once mercury is in the water, certain biological and chemical processes can turn it into a highly toxic substance. Now, this toxic substance, when it enters the water, there are plants there, there are sediments there, they live in the water, they absorb the water, and it affects their species. In past 200 years, because of the gold rush and mining, there's so much mercury has been dumped into the Bay Area that we have entirely wiped out hundreds of different kinds of plants which used to be exist there. They don't look the same anymore. Their color has changed. If you touch them, your skin will be corroded right away. When this mercury enters water, then plantation absorb this toxic substance called methyl mercury, and fish feed on it. So the smaller fish, the larger fish eats the smaller fish, and the smaller fish feeds on the other smaller fish. And we humans, we like fishing. We go there, we fish there, and we eat the largest fish and the little fish. Now, when fish eat the other fishes which are already contaminated with this substance called methyl mercury, it gets accumulated in their tissues. And it all happens because of this water contamination. And when we eat this fish, this toxic substance called methyl mercury gets accumulated in our tissues as well. In the Bay Area, no retail market sells the fish out of the bay, but fishing is still allowed. Not only is this, we can see power plants. Power plants send up the smoke and toxic chemicals, just like carbon. This goes up in the air and it gets accumulated. Same thing with the industrial waste. And all this waste which goes up into the air, it gets precipitated and it comes back to us in the form of rain. Other mine waste, we have basically 5 basic gold mines around the Bay Area, which have been closed, but they are like 100 and 150 years old, which are still dumping waste into the Bay Area. And as a result, we have polluted this whole Bay Area. We can see the Bay Area, there's a warning sign which says contaminated water, but people still fish, eat fish, they go fishing, they love fish. A lot of mercury comes to Sacramento River from the Central Valley. There's an Umpire mine, which is one of the biggest mine in California, that is responsible for dumping a lot of mercury. So as you can see, all this process affects each one of us. So our topic is all about this, and I will bring Aruna for talk, and then we'll talk a little bit more about again.
Hi guys, my name is Aaron. To go off of what Love just said right now, there are new findings in a statewide study of contaminations in fish caught off the California coast that show methylmercury. It's a neurotoxin that damages the nervous system of humans, so it's found in high concentrations in more than a third of locations that were researched. Let's see. So the report released by the State Water Quality Agency yields new information for anglers and consumers on which species of fish tend to accumulate the substance. It also indicates that older predatory fish have higher levels of methylmercury regardless of where they are caught. Let's see. Mercury is a toxic heavy metal that collects in the aquatic food chain and harms fish, birds, marine mammals, and humans. Mercury in the environment is often converted by bacteria to a more toxic form called methylmercury, a potent neurotoxin that remains in the environment and builds up or bioaccumulates in the ecosystem. Methylmercury in the food chain is linked to neurological development, immunological, and reproductive and cardiovascular problems in wildlife and people that are exposed by eating contaminated fish. So, Baykeeper, its organization, has worked for many years to reduce mercury contamination in the San Francisco Bay. Our advocacy has entered better protections for the people, fish, and marine mammals that depend on clean water. So in 2007, Baykeeper successfully concluded a decade-long fight to secure an aggressive cleanup plan to reduce mercury in the bay. The final plan, while not perfect, calls for a reduction of nearly 40% of mercury that reaches the bay every year from hundreds of sources. Baykeeper also succeeded in advocating for other improvements, including requiring municipal and industrial waste, and water discharges to monitor mercury levels to the Bay Area, and strengthening requirements to protect communities that rely on fish out of the Bay Area as well as food sources, and improving strategies to deal with degraded soils that are high in mercury levels. So Baykeeper has been working for several years to develop new regulatory tools to monitor and regulate airborne mercury pollution that reaches the bay. So 5 bayside oil refineries are suspected to emit large amounts of mercury into the air that eventually deposit into the bay and local creeks. So in April of 2007, at our urging, the San Francisco Bay Regional Water Quality Control Board asked the facilities to study the account for their mercury emissions within a year. Refinery representatives conducted their own private studies and now maintain the refinery emission stacks are not a significant source of mercury pollution to the bay. So, Baykeeper is working with outside experts to review the studies produced by the refineries and ensure that the regional board holds this polluting industry accountable for the large amount of mercury they release into our local environment. So, again, in 2007, Baykeeper reached a settlement agreement with California State Parks to clean up Empire Mine, the state's largest gold mine, located across Grass Valley. Baykeeper is overseeing the Department of State Parks cleanup activities to ensure that mercury, as well as other toxic pollutants, is contained on an aggressive time schedule. It is essential that historic sources around the large mine are properly contained to prevent contamination of the Bay Delta watershed. For over 100 years, mining waste from the new mine in Santa Clarita County has contaminated the sediment of the Guadalupe River and local creek beds that empty into San Francisco Bay. Baykeeper worked to reduce the source of mercury to the bay by advocating for stronger measures in the Guadalupe River Mercury Cleanup Plan. The final plan reflects many of our recommendations, including a more aggressive time frame for cleaning up mercury contamination in the Guadalupe River. And leads us back to where Love brings our philosophical argument as to why this is important.
Okay, thank you, Arun. As Arun just mentioned, that there are several organizations who have been trying for years to solve this problem. Some of them include the United States Health Protection Agency, the California Health Protection Agency, Actuary Institute, and the organization Baykeeper. They conduct every month programs to aware people about the potential hazards of eating fish and swimming in the Bay Area. According to doctors, one should not eat more than 2 pounds of fish a month if they don't want to be affected by this toxin called methyl mercury. And 2 pounds a month, which means just 1 pound in 15 days, which is not much. And I think we all consume more than that. So it is our job to inform you about the hazards of that. Now, we see that there's a battle going on. Now, since this is a class called Philosophy of Science and Technology, we would like to go beyond this and touch it, take it to the philosophical side, that how man's relationship to water has changed over time. Now, when a scientist looks at this and a technologist looks at this, he looks at it as a different point of view. For a scientist, researching on water and researching on methyl, he gives equal importance. Both are same entities for him. But a technologist who is working at a water control board wants to give more weight on water and less weight on methyl, thereby reducing the content of mercury and increasing the content. I mean, this thing is not very clearly here. It's on the poster right there. It's missing in the slide, which you can see. Now we can see that this Bay Area, which used to have pure water a few hundred years ago, and scientists, it is not sacred anymore. Water is not sacred for us anymore. For example, we go to temple, we go to a church, we call their holy water. You will not see any water that is contaminated over there. People worship it, they give it as blessings, they sprinkle over them. But this water is same like that water. The chemical composition is the same. What is the basic chemical difference? Nothing. So the water has lost its sacredness over time. The water which we used to worship, which used to be clean in the Greek era, which used to be the very source of life, which people used to settle settlements there near the river so that they can eat, they can have a longer lifespan, they used to move. And the same, we have such a big resource in the Bay Area and we have polluted it to a very, very high level. So it is not even a resource anymore in this century. We have even lost such a big resource. We have lost this resource entirely. It is so polluted that we cannot even use it for any purpose. So the human's relationship to water has changed in past so many centuries, and it is continuing to do so unless we make a difference. We are here to urge you, make you aware of the situation, and make you think that what is our relationship to water, how it has benefited us over these 2,000 years, 2,500 years, when there was hardly any water, there was cholera, there were other diseases, and we had to fight for it. We used to drink just the water out of the well. We had no purifying substance, and today we have all the technology, so much technology, but still we have such a huge problem, and we have created a mess. So, and this water is very polluted, so the fish there, this is how it basically affects humans. We dump the mercury, the toxin mercury from the gold rush. During mid-80s, the government dumped it to get rid of mercury, and we thought that humans will be safe. We dumped it from the mole line, from the mines it's being dumped, from the atmospheric, and thought it will never come back to us. We have eliminated from the land. But it has contributed, it has dissolved into the water so much, and now it has backfired on us. We eat the same fish. And if you go to North Bay, those fish are even more contaminated because they are larger in size and they are big predators. So the big predators eat the smaller ones and they get even more mercury in them. So when we go to Bay, Bodega Bay and all, and we shop, it's even. Salmons is still comparatively very safe than other fishes, but others are really toxic. So when pregnant women eat them, kids eat them, they are more vulnerable to born with cardiovascular diseases, neuro system diseases, nervous system and all. So it affects their muscular movements, eyesight impaired, and then we saw doctors. So we're just here to let you think. So for our relationship with water, we have to lead it back to where it was. We are responsible for it. It is a human. It's a human. It is done by all humans. It is not natural. We have done mercury, and I think it's a job to be safe and give water back its sacredness, and so that we can live a better life. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask us.
Okay, why don't we take our guests one more time for a great set of presentations. So that's it for today. Just a reminder, next Tuesday is Veterans Day, so thank the veteran, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks.